Delhi used to be in Vasantpur. It's currently known as the Grand.
Okay, right.
When it opened, it was the Grand Hyatt, the first
Okay.
Grand Hyatt of India.
Right. So he was in the pre-opening team, and he has risen from the ranks while working for brands like the Imperial, Shangri-La, New Delhi, the Leela Ambience, Hyatt Regency, Gurgaon, and before he started his general manager's role now at Heritage Village Resort, right?
I'm currently with 4 points, Colonel.
Okay. Currently, you're with 4 points. So you have resort experience, you have all the hotel experience. So that's lovely. That is the 4 Point Sheraton Hotel at the New Delhi airport.
That's right. That's right.
Right. So it's lovely, wonderful having you both here.
Thanks for having us over, Colonel.
So, there is a lot actually to be discussed today, and I'll come straight to the point. But before we start the discussion, Shiv and Sumit, the question is to both of you. Are you aware of since you have been in industry and you must have come across in your industry as well, many veterans. But are you aware that in Army, we have different branches, we have the people who are from infantry, armored, artillery, who are, mainly into the combat services. Then we have the ordnance services, which, like inventory management, they are this thing. And then we have our supply chain officers in ASC. And then, so we have a mix of officers. And all these officers also do various kind of duties which actually, cross boundaries. So it's a very ready to use talent pool which is available for the industry, and especially I will explain to you why it is very relevant for the hospitality industry. But were you aware of this fact before?
I was.
Right.
Because, also an army brat myself. So I know pretty much that, the forces have pretty much everything, and they prepare them for a life of civil services later on. Yeah, so I'm aware. Yes.
Okay, great. So that makes my job as easier actually. So Shiv, before we start, can you just give a brief idea of how is the scene now? Post pandemic, are the things totally normal and thriving? Is the business thriving? What may be the size of the business?
See, as of now, we are back to pre-pandemic levels.
Right.
Revenues are soaring. The hotels that were down to zero have started, sort of gaining their pre-pandemic revenue figures, which is quite decent. And the tourism and the hospitality pretty much take up 10% of your GDP. Having said that, this industry did not get the support during the pandemic, but yes, right now they are back to where they should be. And the best part is that all this business is coming from domestic market. The international market is yet to contribute. So yeah, better days are coming in, right, Sumit?
Absolutely.
So that's very heartening to know. Actually, why I asked this question is that means the jobs are also there.
Definitely, most definitely.
You'll be surprised to know, means jobs are there and the talent is not there anymore. People had migrated to their respective hometowns during pandemic, and it's currently difficult to get the actual manpower which is required for the hotels to run.
Right. So it's a good thing to know that job scenario is good in the hospitality industry. And for all my audience, whosoever is attending this thing, one thing which is very good about the hospitality industry is that it is pan India. It's present pan India. So you have these opportunities available pan India, because many a times when a veteran is transitioning, so at that time they have some people have the compulsion of location compulsion. They want to be in a particular place. So this is one of the industries which addresses that problem, and you can always look at this industry. As we move forward, we will discuss the various aspects of the main points about this industry. So can you tell us what is the kind of roles which are suitable for an army officer? Army, when I say army officer, it is not army, it is armed forces officer.
Yes.
So it may be Air Force, Navy, Army. So what are the kind of roles which industry offers?
All right, I'll answer that for you. In my span of career, I have seen, armed forces in sales, although not many of them. Sumit knows who am I talking about. So not many people in sales really. And I would say pretty much before the new brands started coming into the market, we had people from forces only joining the security services.
Yeah.
That's what this was a perception that ये ठीक है forces से हैं तो इनको किसी ऐसे task में लगा दो जो कि ये they are used to it and they should be fit for it.
And I would not name chain of the hotels, but the prime criteria for their chief of security has to be an ex-serviceman.
Yeah.
This is also the prime reason why I asked this question, because the perception of the industry is that armed forces officers are fit only for, especially in the hospitality sector,
Yeah.
is fit only for the security services,
Agreed.
which is actually not true. It may be because of lack of knowledge, and maybe we have also not been able to change this perception.
Yeah.
So while security is a very important role, but just to give you both of you an example, we have our officer messes in the services. We have officer messes. We have clubs.
Yeah.
We have events which are very, very at a very large scale. We have exhibitions like Def Expo, Defense Expo, which are open to industry, and all these things are managed by the army officers. So
there's one question for you here, though. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
But this is just a question that we're going to be asking ourselves. If I'm not wrong, the catering at the Daula Kuan, which is DSI, I think that's being managed privately. Why is that?
No, that is being managed privately because we cannot be using the combatants for this purpose. It's a recreational. So we are managing those. So
Okay.
there is a secretary.
Okay.
There is a secretary who's ensuring that everything is tiki boo, and members are enjoying all the facilities, and all the facilities are run properly.
Okay.
So there is a golf course. So there is a golf course secretary over there. So, and they also have various facilities. They have to maintain the golf course also, restaurants also, bar also. All those things are there.
Yeah.
So my point is that I'm yet to meet an army officer, maybe, who in his service has not done one of these roles, like mess secretary. Everyone does it.
Right.
Handles accounts, manages people, manages this thing. And many a times when we go to the restaurants, we find them actually lacking in some basic services. So, I mean, just to cut, I will not
Yeah.
talk
Understood.
about it.
I was just trying to say this. This is relevant to the point that, when you sort of, if you put in people from forces, it will be seen as a great example. You lead by example, you see.
Yes.
Hotels will notice that. Now, right now, everybody knows that, as far as the food is concerned, yeah, fine. So army has a working mess. So yeah, I have seen people. I've not seen people from the army in kitchens. And that's something which is different. I'll be very happy to see people moving out from the army and taking up a sort of culinary course of career, right?
No, there are people who are actually, but they for that somebody has to be real passionate about cooking and all.
Yeah. Because the finesse, which is
I'm only trying to. Yeah. Sumit, sorry.
because the professional finesse which is required in the hotel is actually unfortunately taught in the hotel schools only.
Yeah.
Army definitely, caters to the bulk cooking or the bigger banqueting events. But if we talk about a fine dining or a finesse in a hotel specifically, that's where the apprehension generally comes unless somebody actually stands out and says, no, this is what I can actually do or I can deliver.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, my why I was I took the discussion in this direction is that since you are one of the both of you have been in the industry for so long, and you have been associated with so many hotels and all.
Yeah.
It's time that the perception of armed forces officer changes from only from security. They are ready to take on leadership roles. They are very good administrators. Very good administrators.
Yeah, so we've had a HR director from the army, Colonel Anup
Yeah.
Vaid. I don't know if you know him, but yeah, he stays in Gurgaon, and he led the HR team for good 3-4 years before he moved out, and now he's with facilities. But yeah, and I've seen people in sales. Like I said, I'm just telling you where I've seen army people.
Yeah.
Now, an army officer, when he comes out of the army, I cannot put him up in the lead operations. You see, because obviously, that will not be such a well-paying job for an army officer.
Right.
So what he should at least stick to the level that he is. So HR, sales, and most definitely security. Don't look at security as just one part. Today, security means a lot of other things.
Yeah. I'm aware. It's a
Yeah.
specialized domain now.
It's a very specialized domain, and
Yeah.
it covers not only just the peripheral security. It's got a lot of other stuff happening there.
Exactly.
And to tackle the cyber security, for example, there is an IT manager for that. I'm sure if somebody who's trained decently in the cyber world, he would be very much of he'll find himself very useful in the IT. There is an IT manager every hotel has, and that's a HOD level. So yeah, that's something that is fit for an army officer. If he's trained for IT, he can get into this field as well. That's another vertical that he can look at.
Right. So you, I mean, the relevant areas, Sumit, are maybe as Shiv brought out, is HR is one.
Yeah.
Then sales is another. This thing, though, I have also not seen many people in sales, but I think it's more to do with the industries. This thing.
Colonel, somehow I don't agree with this statement that this is some kind of industry thing. With all due respect to our forces, how many people out of forces would like to come out and join a hotel for that matter, apart from security? During the years of their service, they are actually that stiff that sometimes the guest handling in the hotels becomes a bit of a tedious task for them as well. So that's what has been inculcated in them while they are being trained. The hotel guys are trained to be polite.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree. It's customer centric.
It's a very customer centric industry. So how many army men would you actually see who would like to come and say, no, I would like to be at the front office for that matter?
Right. No, but
see, our industry will accept anyone, provided the person is ready to adapt to the industry.
Absolutely. Bang on.
Right. So that is of course is there. You have to adapt. You see, when a veteran is transitioning, he is not he doesn't know about the hospital industry. What he has seen from the hospitality industry, what he has seen is from the outside when he has been a customer.
Right.
Exactly.
And, yeah. So, but the point is, I also don't agree with this statement. The adaptability of an services officer is tremendous. All his life, the services officers have been adapting only. You see, yeah. I mean, we have been adapting to different situations.
How many of our forces team members practically would love to join the hotels? Would depend upon their own curiosity as well. I have not seen anybody actively applying in hotels after the forces in any other department.
No, they do. In fact, a lot of hotels have HR, admin, and security, especially security and admin, I have seen so many people, so many
Yeah,
of them.
that's only say security and admin is what we are talking about here. So when we talk about the other operational aspects, I have not seen anybody coming forefront and saying this is what we wish to do or we wish to be a part of this particular, uh, I would say, department in the hospitality.
Yeah, so that is because first is uh, there is a precedence to everything. There is a lot of precedence. We how does a veteran come out? He sees, he networks with people who are already there in the industry. He connects with them, because most of us who come out, they don't know in the industry many people, so they would first attempt is to connect to your own brother,
Yeah.
you know
Right.
and those people in it earlier used to be only in these two domains,
These domains.
right? So it's a very natural process towards that. But the things are changing, like in the tech industry. There are a lot of army officers, I mean armed forces officers, who are there in the sales, ideas and much more. We will give you chance, please. So uh, so there are other industries which have already taken on these officers for business development, for uh, roles in sales,
Yeah.
for pre-sales services, for customer services. So customer facing this thing. I mean, yeah, who can be a better this thing? A person who can talk to people at all level. He has been trained. We have been trained to talk to people at all level. Now, with a little bit of training from I'm sure when any person joins, you must be having some kind of orientation or something. You know, that kind of orientation is enough for an armed forces officer.
Yeah.
So, anyway, the discussion is, if HR, admin, sales, and when I say admin, I take it that housekeeping and all also comes under admin. Am I right?
No,
Uh, Not actually.
pretty much under rooms division,
Okay, yeah.
front
So
office. Yeah.
even that is one place, you know, because our own officer messes, our own clubs, we have been doing these kind of things. They may be doing it little differently. You people are doing it differently, but the aim is to keep the place neat and tidy and always all services running. You know, and have a control, have a feedback mechanism, have a reporting mechanism, and know if anything goes wrong, whom to call, what to do. Those kind of actions, emergency actions, etc.
All right. So I'll try to summarize your thing. I'll tell you. I think we are all talking about the same thing. The only challenge that I see here going into operations for army officers or armed forces officers is that they will start at a certain age. Whatever. I'm not trying to no
Yes,
gender,
yes,
Mean
no,
anyone here.
there is no problem with the age. But the fact is, when they have to start now, these children who come to the hotels, they do hotel management and start working in the hotels right after that. So
yeah,
these are very young people. They are
I know.
probably what, 20 years, not even probably
21 max.
21 max at max. So when these people they start working, they don't mind starting out at the low level. But obviously, officers would expect to be taken at a certain level. So that gap might be difficult to give. If a hotel sort of gives you gives an option to the all right, you start working for a, say, I mean, starting job is probably not even 20,000 rupees. But to learn all that and to gain that experience, see, learning is one thing, gaining experience is one thing. And hotels
Oh,
have, hotels are certain,
I get your point.
the point is that they follow certain systems and they expect everyone to know them. All right,
Right,
you have to come work in the housekeeping, yes, so you need to know all this and also having an experience of that job.
right.
Like another example, let's not quote housekeeping, for that matter, food and beverage service. That has a whole lot of
Right.
course detail that goes into it. All right, your your
No,
covers.
I'm not. I
Yeah,
purposefully didn't touch food and beverages.
yeah,
Kitchen. I didn't purposefully didn't touch.
yeah, yeah,
So the logical question is,
yeah.
so if that be so, there are officers who are coming at 5 years of service. There are officers who are coming at 10 to 15, and then there are officers who are coming after 20 years.
Right. Yeah.
Who earn their pension and then they come. So
Right.
can you tell us what is a level
Yeah.
and what are the suitable jobs for an officer and where he should apply for?
See, I can tell you that you can be very hopeful for the ones that we've already discussed: security, admin, sales. Even sales would be, because then again, to be into the sales, you need to know the entire operations base also. You should know how F&B works. You should know how the front office works. But since our very dear friend Major Dhariwal, he's still with the hotels. he he's found his way, really. And I think I don't know how long has he been with the hotels. Would you know, Sumit?
I think he started in 2009, I guess, 2008 or 2009.
So he landed straight into sales after army
Yeah, straight at the Leela in sales team.
in Leela and Gurgaon.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I was doing the pre-opening, he was pretty much there. I did have this discussion, but yes, he was another story, really. He did not have a problem starting out, learning, sitting down with anybody, and he was youngish, really. So that helped him. That went his way.
And he came in from the technical side of forces. He was into the repair and maintenance cell of the artilleries.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
Okay.
that's good.
So that means though it is not very common,
Yeah,
but there have been instances of people joining sales. And of course, I'm sure that there are chances once people
Actually, we
join.
could have taken Major also on this call, and he would
Yeah,
have-
it
it
just
would have been
struck
really
me.
interesting.
It just struck me, and it was our fault actually.
No, that's not a problem. I think whenever you want, we can have another
Yeah,
call.
yeah. But my this thing is ki,
Yeah.
even if a person cannot join sales initially,
Yeah.
once he joins the industry, he can always make a transition to sales. Once he gets to know, he sees things around, and he can always.
Absolutely. Yes,
Right.
it is a possibility.
Yeah.
And I
So-
see them doing that, in a very decent way, because I've seen Major Dhariwal doing it. So Major Prateep is a live burning example of this. And I've seen people in army, from the army background, working in the purchase department, procurement. Pretty much not the accounts, because again, that's a very specialized sort of thing. But I'm sure people from army can also find way into the accounts teams, finance and accounts, so to speak. And
Right.
I also mentioned information technology, which is, some places it is called information system, some places it is called, that's also an option.
Is there a learning and development this thing also in the hotel industry as such?
Yes, there is a function which is called a training manager function. Some places it is called talent
and the culture.
and culture. So these are the people who are sort of into teaching, but then their background has to be hotel management.
Okay.
Then they need to, sort of the entire F&B has to be rolled into that. So that role might not be very
Right.
for a
So-
armed forces manager.
Okay, so when a officer comes out of the service, he's already at a certain level,
Yep.
depending upon whether he is coming after short service or he's
Right.
coming up. So, but he's already at a certain level,
Yes.
both in terms of his experience, service, and
Compensation.
and also his salary expectations.
Correct.
Yeah.
So what are the salaries and perks which are offered at? I mean, just to have a ballpark idea, kind of a thing.
Would you put it in the range of 25 to 30, Sumit,
Begin with, yeah.
to begin with?
That too in Delhi because of the minimum wages and all.
We are talking about maybe
Maybe
a 4 lakh rupee. That too in the Delhi NCR region. Elsewhere, it might not be that much.
Bombay, maybe Delhi, Bombay. You're
But
talking about
Delhi, Mumbai,
A class cities.
Yeah. Delhi,
Right.
Mumbai is pretty much similar.
What about the growth prospect? I mean,
See,
uh,
once you get into the function, then there is definitely growth. It's just
okay.
a matter of proving yourself, which is I don't see.
Purely as per merit.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
Purely as per
It
merit.
has to be as per merit.
Yeah.
Right, right.
So
So
So,
it's
there's
not that
no guarantee that
years
if
that your rank would change or something like that.
yeah.
so you see, we all of us, in fact, though I know quite a few of my colleagues' children or my family also, people are doing hotel management, and it's quite a demanding line, you know.
Yes, please.
You have to always put up a smiling face, even if you don't want to smile.
Yeah.
So, 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 can you just tell us what are the challenges, work environment, and the challenges?
It's long working hours, and you just can't be shy of doing anything. You just can't be.
Right, I know. I've seen. I mean, the guy is running the entire thing, and then he just collects the plates because there's nobody else
Exactly.
at the moment. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. So that's a very every
Yeah.
job has got its own challenges, and long working hours is something, yeah, which I can say yes. I've seen people doing that.
Yeah.
But as far as what about the work-life balance part of it?
What is that?
What is that?
Hotels don't have a work-life balance concept.
I
It's
think you
just
got the answer.
it's in the
Okay.
theory.
So it is everyone to note that
I've heard this term somewhere.
right,
That
right,
came straight from the heart, Manish.
good, very good. I like the instant reaction. What is that? Right. So yeah, somebody's Lee Veda is saying we are used to long working hours. Yes, I know
Now
they.
you need to understand one thing. Hoteliers work when the entire world is celebrating.
Yeah. That's a very well brought up. Exactly. When everybody is celebrating at that time, they're working. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
But then how is the work culture? I mean, right? It's long working hours. It's this. How is the team and how is the
Okay, till the time you don't retire, you are in college. Let me put it this way.
okay? So it's a learning all the way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you are and learning all the way, and you're also having a lot of people around you.
And there is ragging also all the way.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So any
Okay, but I'll tell you the brighter side a little bit. So when you if you go there as a user, it's a different experience altogether. But trust me, you learn to get along with people.
very
That's
nice.
something that I would say is a beautiful learning experience. You get to know people, and then all kind of cultures you see, which you see in the army also. That's a huge parallel that I draw with the army, and you see a lot of army kids in the hotels. Lots of.
Yeah.
I personally know many of them.
I'm sure you do. So there are a lot of them, and somehow there are a lot of parallels that you can draw between the two, verticals. Army being army, and then hotels being hotels.
And also it teaches a lot of patience also, I think.
It does to the max. There's no cap on that.
Yeah.
And also to sort of another thing, which is we spoke about the starting salaries. Trust me, salaries are not bad in the hotels. Like Sumit said, it's a merit based thing. You perform, and trust me, there is no limit you can go to.
Yeah.
A general manager typically, uh, you know, I've seen general managers starting from 4 lakh rupees up to 2 crore rupees. So there is a huge thing. If you're working in a big hotel, there are expats who draw that kind of salary. Expat general managers, when they come to India and work, there is a they
That
work.
myth is no longer there. Means you'll see even Indians earning that salary.
Yeah.
I'll not name, but I definitely know few Indian general managers who are at 3 CR plus packages.
Yeah, they do. So That's decent. So the range is quite big. The more you perform, the more you get there.
So, is there suppose a person who's now about to hang his uniform?
Yeah.
Is there any preparation to be done? Any special qualification he should acquire? What is the kind of preparation if somebody is wanting to join this industry? Should he acquire some kind of qualification?
See, I'll just put it in a very simple fashion, Colonel. As a hotelier, we work on PQ,
Okay,
which is people, product, and profit.
people, product, and
Profit.
yeah. कहीं सुना सा लग रहा है.
That's
Right.
it.
Okay. So you have to be a people's man, and you should know what product you have, and you
And
should
how can
be
you
working towards getting the
enhance
profit.
how can you enhance that product without compromising on profit?
Yeah. Understood. Right. Very nice. So I understood that, but I mean, do I have to prepare for it? Do I have to do something?
Yeah. So with this, earlier there was only a few options like hotel management from Ivy League colleges. You had your hotel management PUSA, which is
Right.
right now you have a lot of options in the private. It just takes a little research. I can tell you the names of a few.
No, I'm not talking about doing hotel management as such.
No. I'm just not telling you to do hotel management. I'm saying there are short-term courses that you can do which will prepare you for a certain role.
Okay.
And I think MBAs are pretty much a part of your thing, right? These days, I do see army officers going for their
Yes.
MBA.
Yes.
Yeah. So once you do that, your basics would be covered there. And then to add it on, maybe a short-term course in hotels, how the thing functions. There are online courses there these days, Colonel. There's so many of them. Just a little research over the net will get you, the decent results. There are courses you can do. There are many courses you can do. If you want to, let's say you want to get into sales only, I'm sure your MBA covers that for you in terms of your, sort of the what you have, the syllabus and all of that. But then at the same time, to get to know that industry's sales is a little different. So if you do something related to a hotel, maybe it has to be. So there are also skill development programs that the government has started. I will need to research more into it because somebody spoke to me about it a few days back, who's setting up an institute in Noida. So he's going to be certifying these people who are going to be studying with him.
Plus, apart from this, government few years back before COVID, they come up with a scheme called Hunar Se Rozgar, which was primarily for not very well qualified people or coming in from EWS for that matter as well. So government has done something which definitely, it's not only everyone is not an officer rank from the forces as well. So sometimes you've got lower level people also retiring or leaving the forces because of whatever reason. So even they have a scope to be in industry.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, people can research on these things. They have to hone up their people skills.
That's right.
Which are specific to this industry.
Yeah.
And you have quite a few platforms these days, Coursera, Udemy, etc. So one can always go through that.
Right.
So Shiv and Sumit, both of you, we have so many officers hanging uniform every year, and in fact, we also have a pool of officers who are who have sent their resumes to us. So I would request both of you also, wherever you can pitch for the uniform people, I would say you can always ask us. We always have resumes ready with us.
Sure. I
And-
mean, sure. Why not? We can look at that.
Yeah.
Wherever we can help, we will definitely pitch. And Sumit is a reigning industry leader. We should be, we should be able to help. Definitely.
For sure.
Sure. So I will just open this session for question and answer so that anybody having any questions, they can get answers to it. without delaying. Anybody having any question? Okay. Ideas and much more. It's a very nice name.
So may I, sir?
Yeah, please.
Good evening, sir. I'm Colonel Prashant Agrawal, sir. And let me start with thanking you and even Mr. Sumit and Mr. Shiv for giving us an insight into the hotel industry. However, sir, I would just like to mention that I have completed about 20 years of service and I'm currently undergoing an executive MBA through MDI Gurgaon and looking at transitioning into the corporate world. For me to attend this session, the aim was, as it was brought out, that the hotel industry is growing. Already we are at 10% of the GDP, and even I feel that this is the future. There are lot of opportunities to grow in this industry. Now, sir, from my understanding of what was brought out, I would like to slightly differ, sir. I'm an infantry officer, been in combat operations throughout. However, at the same time, sir, I've been in Bhutan on posting wherein I have handled the visit of the King of Bhutan. I have organized events to meet his aspirations or to host him rather. And sir, in the organization in last 20 years, I have organized numerous events like Bacardi Nights, catering for a club at Jalandhar, hosting more than 2,000 people, in which even fashion shows, etc., were organized and models from even Bombay were participated in the event. Now, as far as looking after the guests is concerned, sir, in the army, we are taught etiquettes, mannerisms, etc. And I'm sure that is the niche skill, along with our leadership qualities, honesty, integrity, etc., that need not be mentioned. Now, sir, whenever a guest comes and visits us, we start the preparations much more in advance, similar to the hotel industry, looking after his likes or trying to ascertain his likes, dislikes, etc., and organizing the even 7-course meals for the guests. We have our own bars, organizing numerous drinks like cocktails, mocktails. So we are experienced on those fronts. So what I am trying to ask you, sir, is that with all this experience behind us of looking after guest rooms in which believe me, sir, like giving respect to guests, even as a colonel, I was waiting to receive the generals with my wife with flower bouquet in our hands. So we have done all that throughout our lives. So I feel that with our skill set, it would be an easy transition into the hotel industry for all of us, any of us rather. The only thing is, sir, yes, we need to train. We need to upskill ourselves to match the requirements of the industry.
Yeah.
Now, sir, there's a company, famous JP Morgan's. What they offer is a 3 months internship program for the armed forces veterans, wherein they take the armed forces veterans for 3 months on the condition that if you are able to meet the organizational requirements, we will absorb you. Is there a feasibility of having a similar program, something like that for us, wherein we can join this internship and then suppose we are able to fit into the requirements and if both the sides match, we can be absorbed. So that is my question, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll answer this very simply. I think we discussed all this, that, hotels a profit-making venture. They will look at minimum payroll and maximum output. Sumit, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, absolutely.
So when I'm looking to hire a person at the entry level, I can hire him for as little as 12,000 rupees. But that's not something that I can offer to you. You can only come in as a leader. But how do you make it to the leader's position? That's a question that we need to ask ourselves.
And sir, adding to what Mr. Bakshi just said, and coming in from what you experienced or what you handling 2,000 people event, getting food made, getting cocktails made, getting bar done. Sir, how long did you take to plan this kind of an event, sir? if I may ask with all due respect?
Sir, it all depends on the kind of events. We do it on daily basis for ourselves also. However, when a dignitary like King is visiting, King of Bhutan, and to be honest, I have even been a host to the Prime Minister of India visiting Bhutan, wherein I was detailed as his liaison officer, and he had come in and we had to cater for his food. So it used to take not weeks, but about a fortnight, wherein you meet the delegation, you find out about his program, schedule of events, etc. So it's a long-term process. It's not an overnight thing, sir.
Sir, so that's where I'm coming to. So your logistics and all, you definitely take some time to put them across. But when it comes to execution of preparing food for 2,000 people, how long would that kind of logistic take as per you, sir?
Sir, it would be, once the menu is finalized, then maybe 1 day, sir, not more than that.
So you are in a position to execute everything in a span of fortnight, and after menu, you only need 24 hours to execute it.
You know, Sumit, the what he's actually trying to bring out is that though he may not have done it exactly as a hotel operates, but I mean, an army officer, he and many others have had very varied kind of experiences, including, you know, hosting at the highest level and then making preparations. And also, what he's trying to say is that it's a natural fit.
Me and Colonel Agrawal are on the same page. So when we are in a position to execute the same thing for 2,000 people in a span of 24 to 48 hours, so this is exactly what we do. So then that inspiration or that inclination needs to come from the person from the forces end to say that this is what we've done, but who's highlighted this? On this one, Colonel Agrawal has highlighted this. Otherwise, how many places would he go and highlight and say that this is what we've done, and in the lesser span of time, what a hotelier could have done?
So relevant point,
if I may add, sir, in addition to all this, sir, we are adept at handling this crisis management, problem solving, and we in the army, sir, have learned throughout to work on a zero error syndrome kind of a situation, sir.
Absolutely. But who brings it out when you come to meet somebody in industry?
Sir.
So this is generally not brought out by army personnel.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Sir. That I agree, sir. 100% you are right. And that is what I'm here to learn from you, sir, that suppose I want to get into the industry. So what kind of, like I need to bring all this out. So how can I join the industry? Like there's an initial gateway that I need to get into. So that is the question, sir.
Because so you have the gateway, Shiv and Sumit are there, and we will pester them.
Right.
So that is not the thing. But the first thing which a very relevant point which has come out is that when you give your resume, instead of writing that you have commanded here and there and exactly this, that, if you are applying for a hotel industry, then your resume has to be, you know, highlighting all those relevant points which are relevant to the industry. So those things are there. They are not interested that, you know, I have provided communication to so-and-so, etc. or something. So, or we have had combat experience.
So this exactly is my question, sir. Like I have been the head of the Indian delegation to Russia, sir, for a training exercise in which Mr. Putin had also come, sir. Now my query is,
after so many accolades, why do you want to come and join the hotel?
Sir, I'll just tell you. My query is, sir, like although it was for a combat operation, we had to host a dinner night inviting the head of delegation of 15 countries. So that also I have done, but I don't know how to put it across in a resume. Now, to answer Mr. Sumit's question of why I want to get out, sir, hotel industry, because it's the growing industry and it has a lot of growth potential. Why I want to quit despite being on a UN mission, despite being to Bhutan, despite being to Russia, is, sir, I developed a medical category which put restrictions on my future growth prospects in the army. And I'm an ambitious man, sir. So I did not want to stay stagnant at the rank of colonel and continue in the forces, because I feel that we must move on. That is the time I decided to quit and move out to the corporate world. And I'm exploring my options.
All right, Prashant, what area do you think you will fit into in the industry? Where do you think you can contribute?
Sir, I am looking at an operations and leadership roles. I am not actually looking at HR because my expertise or niche is not into recruiting people. Yes, training and development is my core skill. Training, development, leadership, and operations. So I feel I can easily handle any operation or any event which the hotel industry organizes. Been to not lot of places to organize it. Yes, I need to learn. I need to adapt myself to the culture and etiquettes of a particular hotel. Like even Marriott and Holiday Hilton, DoubleTree will have different cultures and traditions. So you need to learn and adapt to those. That I definitely agree. But I feel operations and leadership role is what I'll look at.
Frankly, Captain Prashant, the learning of cultures is not the question here. It's the basic skill that we are, talking about. You need to equip yourself with those skills.
Yes.
What a steward does, you should know. You cannot have an overall sort of, you
Holistic view.
Need the operations till this time you don't know yourself. The fact is that you need to learn all that.
Absolutely.
Maybe you do not have to start. See, that was my first thing. I cannot take you in at an entry position at the hotel. I will have to take you into leadership position.
Absolutely, sir. So that is what my query was. That do you is it possible for you to offer some kind of internship, maybe for a couple of months, 8 weeks or 12 weeks, wherein we can learn, and then if it's a right match, then maybe we can be picked up.
Yeah, that is something that can be explored. Really, no system exists as of now, and this will basically take up the, not just the two of us. But yeah,
This is the industry-wide.
It's an industry-wide thing.
It has to begin, sir.
Some kind of representation would have to be made.
Okay.
We in our own circle can do that. We can try talking to people that, these are candidates that need to come in, and maybe we could intern them for a little bit, give them some sort of exposure. And then, yeah, sky's the limit.
Okay,
Thank you so much, sir.
Prashant, actually, what the example is not correct. Comparing the hotel industry with JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs is not the correct parallel you can draw. JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs are very manpower intensive, very huge operation intensive, and they have large presence. So these kind of internships are very, very, it's possible to run these kind of veteran programs. Whereas in hotels, if it is done, it will be done, in isolation. Maybe if Shiv and Sumit put a word across, maybe Leela or somebody may agree, okay, we will have we will adjust 2 officers as interns and, see.
But the Imperial Hotel does it for the armed forces, but only in kitchens.
Right. So that is a different level. So it's a different thing. But as brought out, highlight highlight the relevant things in your resume. In fact, we'll be having another session on this particular aspect also. But till that time, you just write your resume, send it to us. I think Captain Vipul had earlier floated this thing, email ID where the resume to be sent. We have some resumes with us already, which we'll be sharing with Mr. Sumit and Mr. Bakshi, as and when they are in good mood to help us out. So
we are always.
Always.
So we'll do that. Yeah, somebody else is also having.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're welcome. So I will read out the question. It's in the chat box. It says. It says there is a confusion in people's mind that the MBA or MTech done online is not that credible. What are your thoughts about it? Did you feel that somebody who has done MBA or MTech online versus someone who has done it offline? He's basically talking about distance learning program. If somebody has done distance learning MBA, so will that help in joining the industry?
You see someone who's a professional who's worked in one industry and has left and joined a course. I don't think that should matter. I did my MBA when I was 42.
Right. No, but online versus offline is the question here. Does the industry?
No, that shouldn't bother. That shouldn't matter at all.
No, pre and post pandemic era, any choice it should not matter.
Right.
In any case, even the industry has a lot of courses online which can be done through the portals of various, brand websites. IHG has it, Hyatt has it. There's a learning kind of portal for all the major hotel companies, and that's after that course is done and you appear for a test, it is taken as a certification. Correct, Sumit?
There are quite a few companies who are doing it. Like Khan Academy is one of them.
Yeah.
You've got Harappa courses.
Yeah,
So
right.
those are definitely the online courses only.
So Cornell, I'm sure you've heard of Cornell.
Yeah, Cornell.
They have an presence industry wide.
Yeah.
So people who are working in the industry, they can take these certifications from these online portals.
Right. Anukul.
Sir, good evening, sir. Sir, my name is Major Anupul, sir. I have put in 11 years of service in Army, sir, and by next year, June, I'll be leaving, sir. So, in this year, December, sir, I'll be going for my executive MBA in MDI Gurgaon. I have seen the hotel industry, I'll not say very closely, but yes, sir, I've seen my father used to work for Centaur Hotel, sir. And then he left the job for starting his own business, sir, of hotel supplies. So, as it was brought out earlier also, sir, that army officers are trained in such a way that we can handle difficult situations with, with a smiling face.
Right.
But if I talk about personally, sir, if I talk about just myself, so I feel that I have that, humbleness which is required, the smiling face which is required, or, so my only thing was I was more interested into the hotel manager role, or when we are dealing with the customers. So that, as you said, sir, the P cube concept. So where we are dealing with the people and generating the profit also. I feel from inside that I am fit for that role, but how will I be eligible for that role? While what next has to be done? What should I do in terms of some qualifications, or in what streams in hotel industry only I should do the expertise, sir?
So honestly speaking, unfortunately, our industry is a very, I would say fixated mindset industry. To enter into operations or lead the hotel, the basic qualification required by any hotel chain, be it domestic, be it international, is 3 years hotel management diploma or equivalent. If you are more than this, that's okay. You could be 7 times MBA, but the basic requirement is 3 years hotel management diploma.
Because
Roger, sir. And sir, sir, if we talk about the salary, sir, so for example, if I go into the security part, sir, security oblique HR oblique admin, sir.
Yeah.
So I'm not going into the mainstream, that the mainstream hoteliering, but what should be the salary which I expect? Should I expect, sir? If I go in security only, basically,
or HR,
and that is the physical security.
All right.
Or
after
HR,
your
or
exposure,
HR admin.
Anukul, after your exposure, maybe as a assistant manager or an executive, which would be your entry level? It could be assistant manager. So the hierarchy is pretty simple in the security, or even admin for that matter. Admin is actually HR in the hotels. There is no admin as such. So, an assistant manager would take home anything between 40, maybe I think, as a matter of 38 to 42,000 rupees. And once you raise, probably make it to the plum position of a department head, you can expect a package of, say, 12 to 15 lakhs. Right, Sumit? Am I wrong there?
So that is 12 to 15 lakhs per annum.
That's right.
That's right.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
The same thing in a luxury hotel. If I talk about a luxury hotel, a director HR takes around 36 to 42 lakhs per annum as well.
Right.
So good evening, sir.
Hi.
Sir, good evening. My name is Colonel Kanishk.
Hi, Colonel.
Sir, likewise, it's all been told, shared by somebody. I have also got 20 years of experience. And as far as hospitality goes, he's already brought out most of the points. Just in
Right.
my case, is that I've been personally involved in the handling of the President of India, which has come to our regiment to give the colors presentation. So I handled the entire hospitality part, that was the food and accommodation and all that. So we all, like you would already know, we have adequate experience. We have inspections every year in the unit, and having commanded a unit for 4 years, so we deal with a plethora of guests from junior to senior guests we have. My question is a little different. Like what this argument is generally going into mainstream hospitality of hotel industry, where we are up against tough competition with people who have served in this line for so many years. So it'll be a little difficult for us to reach in or breach that thing. What I wanted to ask you is a little different question. Is that I am looking at there are a lot of resorts. There are a lot of independent establishments, which say like Goa or down south somewhere, which are independent resorts, which are independently managed. So like we used to are used to managing our own show as commanding officers. So are there any scope for a little niche? I would not like to get into the mainstream like this because I feel it will be a little difficult. But what I am looking at is having an independent portfolio, looking at handling a resort or looking after a resort holistically. That includes all aspects, includes security, inventory management, the entire. Are there any scope in that field where we independently get to run a show?
Yeah, I would not deny that. But then again, the fact remains that you need to be trained in the basics of hospitality, even if it's a standalone hotel. You follow?
Yes.
Yeah, I got that.
Shiv, is, first of all, is it any different? It may be a standalone hotel, but
Yeah.
after all, it is very much part. It's a hotel. It has all the. It may be a resort.
That's what
But-
I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need to be basic training has to be there. That you cannot forego. So some
Exactly.
sort of exposure, Kanish, you will need to have before you can get into any of these roles. I'm sure if you have enough exposure, maybe say 6 months or 1 year, and you have decent connects with people who own resorts in these off locations, most definitely they need to trust you. They need to, trust their own gut, and they can give you that role. But the fact is, if you ask a hospitality industry leader to take you, they will definitely measure you up with these questions. All right, आपका exposure नहीं है. Like Sumit said, they're still not very open. They want a hotel management diploma guy before they take him on as a leader. But as an owner, I will also take up another point if I'm not taking too much of time. But then, yeah, if I know, let's say I know Ganesh, can I know him well and I sort of put my trust into him, I'll say, go learn something and then I'll give you my resort to run. Absolutely fine. No questions on that.
It's actually the same thing. What Shiv, isn't it the same that first you make an entry into the hotel industry,
Yes, correct.
and then try to work
Move
your
up.
way through.
Yeah, agreed.
Right.
And we have been talking about working into hotels. There is something called an ancillary service. There are people who are catering to hotels. There are Anukul said, that his father was a supplier to the hotels. He left hotels and, became a vendor to the hotels. Now that's also, supporting hospitality industry. So that's also one option that everybody could look at. I'm just asking you to explore the options. Maybe you could, sort of, I see.
Like Anukul mentioned, it's just that my wife is a hotelier and she's worked in the hotel. She's a hotel manager graduate and she's worked in the hotel for many years.
Right.
So I've got hands-on experience right one at home.
Wonderful. So you got a 50% hotel management diploma.
Right.
So,
Thank you
that's
so much.
also
Thank
an
you for your
option.
insight. Thank you very much.
Most welcome, Ganesh.
Okay. Quickly, anybody else wanting to ask a question? Yeah, Kant Kesri. Hanji.
Good evening to you. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Shashikant Pandey, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, we have gone through the discussions of the characteristics and the traits which we have as an army officer befitting the hotel industry. But just to bring in a point here, wherein we have officers who are catering qualified in army, primarily army service corps officers. I happen to be one of them,
Yes.
and we happen to have good experience in hospitality, primarily by getting posted to all these CAT establishments. CAT establishments, I mean, for the benefit of others, is like I was posted to Indian Military Academy, and presently I'm in Staff College. So,
So,
wherein
just a second, Kesri sir.
Shashikant sir.
Sumit and Shiv, CAT establishment, when he is mentioning, actually is that means, first of all, it is a lot of officers undergo training there. So,
Okay.
lots means it runs into hundreds and thousands also. Okay. So they have, those kind of messes, those kind of this thing, and CAT establishment messes are, they are grand. So I just wanted to bring it in the right perspective,
Understood.
so that yeah. Please continue.
So here in the role which I am handling presently, and earlier in IMA also, was like we were hosting. The routine matter is there, like 500 officers here and 1,600 cadets in Indian Military Academy were handling complete nutrition, food, stay, everything. Other than this, we were also handling the visit of dignitaries from President, Prime Minister, chiefs, ambassadors of the different countries, delegations. We also happen to host Prince Charles. So this kind of experience which I am presently holding, and I am going to transition in another 6-7 months. So where do we we fit in the hospitality? That's the biggest confusion.
Yeah. So actually, we covered that already with.
Okay, I am sorry to interrupt you, Shiv sir. Vipul this side. I'll elaborate on further on what Shashikant has just mentioned. So
Yeah.
Shashikant is not exactly an officer who can say that he is commanded an infantry battalion or an armored battalion or something. He comes from a specialized corps, which is the Army Service Corps, wherein he has been then trained to take on a particular duty of having been a catering officer, for which he has been also formally trained. He has undergone a army training or a certification, which may exactly not be a 3-year certification, but it is a structured course of 6 to 8 months. After that, he has worked for how
One
many?
year course in Delhi, DIHM, sir.
Yeah, so it is a 1-year course in the Delhi Institute of Hotel Management. And after that, his job has specifically been involved in managing properties which are like, which cater for close to, at times, 15 to 1,600 officer cadets or commissioned officers who are doing courses wherein they provide them 3 meals, they provide them 2 teas, then there are dignitary visits and their accommodation, and also you can say it's kind of a spread out resort which they are managing for a continuous period of time. So someone like Shashikant would be responsible for overall management of that, wherein he'll be handling the manpower which are providing services to these residents. He'll be responsible for developing the menu. He'll be responsible for buying or procurement. He'll be responsible for making sure that the menu is in standards with the given or the minimum. I mean, as per a given minimum protocol.
No, I got you. We got your point, Captain.
Yeah.
So I would like to say that in this case, Mr. Shashikant would actually be a good fit in case it may not be for the 5-star deluxe hotel, but yeah, there are obviously associated industries with us, like caterers, the high-end caterers, who actually cater to this kind of requirement. Look for people with this kind of an experience who can handle 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 people, and are setting up that entire unit at a remote area or area which is not a structured one, and want to take on that kind of responsibility level. So if I have to name a few, I'm sure everyone would have heard names of people like Marut Sikka, Varun Tulis. They are the ones who are actually in this domain and who are looking for people who, with experience of the bulk catering, yet maintaining the quality.
Okay, one is that. What about the banquet operations in a hotel? I mean, someone like him.
So that's
For
what I
long
said.
conferences, long events.
A catering company would still be handy for him instead of a banquet. A banquet manager role would not give him more than 50,000, 60,000 rupees a month.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, there are n number of other nuances involved because a banquet manager can be a restaurant manager also tomorrow when restaurant manager is having his weekly off.
What about the clubs, the large clubs, which are very prestigious clubs and all?
Absolutely. So catering companies cover that. I mean,
Catering company would pretty much cover a club also.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So,
basically we are not looking at hotels, we are looking at hospitality. It could be any branch of hospitality. It does not have to be a 5-star hotel. It could be a standalone banquet which caters to something like a A-Dot in Gurgaon. I don't know if you've seen it.
So one thing which you must understand, Shiv, is that especially in the case of Shashikant,
Yeah.
Day in and day out, he has been responsible for 1,500 to 2,000 people, dining in. So the quality has to be maintained, and food cannot be rotten. Nothing can go wrong with that kind of thing. So it's a huge responsibility, which is there. And all these people who are there, they are either officers or they are cadets, and anything going wrong with the food in the kitchen, in the supplies, is cannot be tolerated at all. The question doesn't arise. So it's a huge responsibility which he has been doing. So this kind of a thing, I think, is very valuable for the industry, hospitality industry.
Further, sir, they also, like when they're in the infantry school, they're also responsible for maintaining the accommodation of the student officers. So the housekeeping and other than the physical security, which is handled by a demo battalion or maybe the depot troops.
Other department, yeah, right.
Yeah, a catering officer is very much. He's kind of responsible for everything. He's responsible for the alpha mess of the CAT establishment. He's responsible for the student officer mess. He's responsible for the housekeeping. He is the one who is developing the menu. He's the one who is doing all kind of LPs besides the AC supplies which come to him. He's the one who is also deciding on whenever there are those VIP functions and passing outs and dining ins and all kind of things. So catering officer is more or less, I mean, for lack of a better for lack of a similar this thing, I'll say he's kind of a general manager for a place which has around 200, 300 odd rooms and may not be exactly say like a 5-star hotel, but yes, 200, 300 rooms hostel with decent facilities. And
so you corrected yourself, Vipul, which is what I was expecting you to do.
Yeah.
There's a very fine line between a large operation and a large operation which is going to yield crazy amounts of money for the hotel company.
Yeah.
I do not want to bring this up, but then the fact is a hotel operation will only expect fine operations. A hotel like Leela charges 4,500, 5,500 rupees per plate.
Right.
Yeah. So that will require special training, which is done by the hotel managers only. So again,
right.
The basic skill that matters, I've been stressing upon it. You might have exposure to handle large movement, but at the same time, that sort of revenue generation does not happen at those places. Those are responsibilities. Here you need to ensure that you sold somebody a package and that should be delivered as it is. And again, I have younger managers who will charge me half the price that I would not like an army officer to go work at a low level and then not get compensated. They should be compensated fairly. Like Shashikant, in his case, I'm sure a caterer, an event company setup will be apt for him and he will be compensated fairly.
Right.
Plus, to add on to this one, what Shashikant is currently doing is a very preset kind of a delivery.
Yes.
Hotel is not a preset delivery. If you've got 2,000 people visiting you in a day, there are 2,000 different set of expectations, 2,000 different set of menus,
Right.
2,000 different set of expertise what those guys carry. So it's not a mess, or it's not a bunch of 1,500 cadets or 1,500 officers or 200 VIPs sitting across and having what Shishikant has processed for them or has sorted for them. So those guys have a different set of expectations who enter a hotel.
No, we
think
totally
that,
get you. We totally get you. Only the point was to highlight that there are specialists who exist in army, as army officers have this category also, and they should be having better chances of getting into the hotel industry. That is what, and as you rightly brought out, that large scale catering companies, or maybe even I would still think, I would like to think that hotel industry would be welcoming to this kind of a profile.
Absolutely.
I think that if I
Word
may,
of advice again, one small word of advice. When you want to start in the hotels, try starting low. You might not be compensated, but the experience that you're going to gather will take you places, trust me. So while you might be, let's say it's just an investment of 1-2 years, you learn all those skills and then
Yeah,
you're set for
I think that's a very nice advice.
to sort of, prepare yourself that, all right, I might be getting 40,000 rupees or 45, but yeah, at the end of it, there's light at the end of the tunnel. You will definitely make it once you've learned all those finer, service deliveries. Just a word of advice. That's all.
Sure. We have Lee Veda who wanted to ask something.
Yes, please. I'm traveling tomorrow morning very early. Let's
Wind up. We'll have just last two questions if somebody has.
Yes, please.
I don't think. Yeah. Anukul, you have already this thing. In case you have any question, you can please put it in the Telegram channel. We'll address it. Let's give chance to others in case somebody is there, or just wait. Somebody was there. Leave.
Roger, sir. I'll wait, sir.
Okay, I think there's nobody else. Okay, Anukul, you can ask your question and then we'll wind up this session.
Sir, thank you so much, sir. So just one last question. Sir, if we compare the hotel industry in India and abroad, sir, maybe Dubai, oblique Canada, sir. So is it a good thing to start abroad, sir, if I'm planning to move out? So how is the comparison like?
Asian hospitality is considered to be the best in the world.
Yeah.
Europeans, you have to do half your work, so it would not be a right.
It's actually considered to be cold. So you will need to prepare yourself.
So if I'm taking a Dubai as a I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask, sir, if I'm taking Dubai as an option, sir.
Yeah.
So what are the comparisons in salaries also and the experience? So is it a good viable thought to start abroad first, or should I start from India first?
I would say you should start from India first, because Dubai and other countries will consider you looking at your experience here in this country. As far as the salaries are concerned, they might be a little more than India because they are expensive places. I just returned from Dubai on Saturday, and trust me, Dubai is quite expensive.
It's not cheap.
It's not cheap at all. I was there for a decent amount of time, and I will be going there quite often now. But yes, they expect you to be trained in your job. They will look at your resume only if you've done. India would still be welcoming you. That all right, fine, he's trying to make a name for himself, but you can't go and expect to learn there. They'll expect you to be ready.
Thank you so much, sir.
Most welcome, Anku.
Sir, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Shiv. Thank you, Sumit. It's been a wonderful, interacting with you both. And
Same here.
Really, we are really grateful to both of you for sparing this time and also give actual insights into the industry and also set the expectations right for everybody who wants to join this industry. And
Correct.
as I requested earlier, we have a pool of resumes and officers who want to join this industry. Some of them may be having experience also earlier. So
We'll be more than happy to just consider and understand what can be accommodated. So we'll definitely be in touch with you as well on the same call.
thank you so much to both of you for sparing this time. And Shiv, you will have to give me some tips on maintaining the beard. So
Sure. Definitely.
Whenever you call him for a drink, I'm sure he'll be more than happy.
यार
Sure.
मुझे ये बोलना नहीं चाहिए बट कैप्टन विपुल तो मुझे बुला चुके हैं कई बार मैं नहीं जाता हूँ
Okay. Thank you so
guys.
much, and
Thank you for having us
to-
here. It was wonderful connecting.
Pleasure.
Thanks,
And-
Captain.
Bye.
Thank you everyone for
Thank you
joining.
so much.
And in case you people have any queries, you can put those queries in our Telegram channel, and we will reach out to both Shiv and Sumit, and we'll try and address those queries, as well as we'll try to help you out as much we can. Thank you so much for sparing your time, and it was wonderful having you.
Thank you.
Jai Hind.
Gotta focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on